In the beginning, it's hard to tell the difference between sleep and meditation. They're very close, but if you're completely sleeping throughout the whole thing, you wouldn't have heard any of my instructions because there's no consciousness in sleep.
Generally aware.
Generally aware. So that subtle awareness, you're meditating for sure.
I just felt like I was slipping almost, slipping away.
You're meditating. You're meditating. Yeah. You're meditating because what happens in meditation is, in waking state, all our attention is outward, right? It goes through our senses. We are seeing things, we're hearing things, our senses are outward. When you go to sleep, all the senses start shutting down and the mind goes inward, and then it goes into unconscious state. In meditation, it's very similar. All the senses start shutting down. You're not really, even my instructions are very feeble, right? You're not intently listening to it like you're listening to a lecture. Just there in the background, and then slowly the mind goes back and then pulls inward, and then it goes into a state where it's aware, but it's conscious, but it's not going outward. The mind going inward is meditation. The mind going outward through the senses is a waking state. So there are 4 states of consciousness. One is a waking state where we are awake, just like how all of us are awake. We are hearing things. That's a waking state. Then there's a sleeping state where the mind is inward, but it's unconscious. There's no awareness of what's happening. That's sleep. The third state is dreaming. Dreaming is, though you're not really aware, there's stuff happening in the mind, right? You're seeing things, you're in some unreal world that's happening in the mind. So the mind is still active in dream. Just like the waking state, the mind is active. In dream state also, the mind is active. But your body is not moving, right? It's on the bed. That's a dreaming state. That's a 4th state, which is a meditative state, or you can call it transcendental state, where you have transcended the what should I say, the world as we know it, but we are not unconscious. It's very similar to sleep, so that's the transcendental state. So these are the 4 states. We are familiar with the 3. The 4th one we are not familiar with, so when we go into that state, we are not sure if that is meditation. But that's what it really is. We're just starting to get used to that state where it's really stillness, so you can't even really tell what it is. When the mind is still, it's hard to tell. Only when you come out of it, oh, I feel relaxed. That's the experience people have, but it's really stillness in the mind. But it's wakeful or alert stillness. You're not asleep. So initially, it's hard to differentiate between sleep and that state.